Well, it's going to be very interesting how Japan's QE policy is going to turn out. And I'm going to say this, you know, gold and silver, right? Yeah, gold and silver and this and all this, palladium, platinum. But you know what? You want any asset that's going to be of use to you or essential to you that is not a hunk of paper. I'll put it that way. I don't care if it's like food, tools, equipment, generators, anything like that. That's what you want. And actually, if everything sky fell and everything fell, gold and silver ain't doing you no good right away. Immediately, what works is what you got on hand. So play it a little like a survivalist, like that's getting ready for a hurricane or an earthquake. You might want to play it like that, where you got some kind of real, tangible supplies. I think that's the most important thing to do. And also remember medical stuff. You know, right now, I went on with others' videos. I don't know if whoever's going to watch this video, that's the first time, but I went on with these micro electrical devices, and I talked about different things where you can actually use the pads with a weight belt over the liver area, over the intestinal area, and use like the DC voltage or the current that was developed by Dr. Bob Beck. I think these type of things are important survival tools. It is out of the realm of mainstream medicine, but it originated not out of the realm of mainstream medicine. So that's another thing why I have so many of these devices. I consider them as survival tools. If they can kill microbes or cause microbes not to replicate, that's an important survival tool when, say, the system goes down and everything. Actually, I think it's better than... I don't want to talk too long about this, but this is something I believe in a lot, this microelectricity. And not everything is equal. Hulda Clark has been known, she wrote the book for The Cure for All Diseases. That is a great exaggeration, in my opinion. She did things that were useful, but the discovery that was done by Dr. Colley and Dr. Lyman, and also Dr. Beck, MD, PhD, perfected devices you can use outside the body to treat blood and cause diseases not to replicate. And also Dr. Otto Becker, MD. Those are all mainstream funded doctors, prestigious universities. It's true. This is part of your survival kit. I want to bring that out because gold and silver, I make colloidal silver every day. I'm making it right now. But let's talk about the Bank of Japan. There isn't anybody who really knows exactly what's going to happen with it, so don't let them bullshit you. And I'm not going to tell you like I know for a fact what's going to happen with their extreme QE policies. But why are they doing it? They got no choice. They got a population that's getting older and older that's got to be supported with all the government programs and pensions plans and all these other things that they have set. Plus, the Japanese population, especially the older generations, they are savers and hoarders to the max. They're not going to, their economy is not going to be like, driven by a bunch of spenders locally. So what they got to do to boost their economy is to boost exports. That's always been the model with Japan, boost exports. So they're killing the value of the yen, which will bring up exports. But as they, if you look at the trajectory of what they're doing, and I know the yen used to be 250 yen to the dollar, 300 yen to the dollar, some years and years ago, before the currencies floated, I think in the 1980s under Reagan. But the yen used to be like, 270, 250, 300 yen to the dollar. And then when the currency floated, it went down to like, 200 to 150 to 125. Now, now it's like up to over 100, right? But what they're trying to do is they're trying to cause inflation. They don't want deflation. They want inflation. And at the same time, they're not going to pay any money on the bonds. But the thing is, who the hell is going to buy these bonds? Right now, they're doing it because it's cheap money. It's cheap money. Like if you want to get lent money to invest someplace, it's cheap. In other words, if I can get a bunch of Japanese yen real cheap, real low interest rates, and buy some bonds someplace else at 4%, that's what you want to do. It's a free ride, right? So That's why it's working out right now for the Japanese government and investors, and that's what's killing gold and silver because, it's better to speculate taking the yen and investing it elsewhere where it's a surefire bet. Why just hold gold and silver? So that's allowed a lot of people to move out of gold and silver. But the problem is with Japan, they don't want. It's a global economy. It's not gonna. It's like the world. It's like Japan's not in a vacuum by itself. If they keep this trajectory up, I mean, the yen's going to be 200 yen to the dollar, and it's going to be cheaper to buy a Lexus versus a Hyundai. You think everybody else is going to sit by and go, "Oh, that's okay"? No, I mean, you're going to be able to buy a Lexus or something cheaper than it's way cheaper than a BMW now, but it'll be even way cheaper. It'll be like buying an economy car, Big screen Sony TVs will be going for half price. Now, in a world where the PMI, the manufacturing data, and it is looking bad, and the GDP is looking bad, you think they're going to allow Japan to just all of a sudden bolster the hell out of their economy, and everybody else is just going to sit back? No, everybody's going to be playing this game, weakening their currencies. So, this Gerald Celente guy, he's accurate, right? I mean, really, what does he say? I mean, I'm just putting it out to you why it's going to come out that way, but you can see it's already coming out that way. Currencies wars lead to trade wars, lead to real wars, and guy's right. What the hell you think? And actually, real wars lead to a major spike in the commodities. So, I don't want to play like the sky is falling and conspiracy freak garbage. I don't want to play like David Icke that the lizard people are in control of the world because then Adam Kokesh needs to go find some lizard people and hunt them down. I don't like playing it, but the stuff is actually going to get bad. And really, the rule of thumb is like something I mentioned on very early on. Real stuff that you will find useful is the most important. You want real, tangible assets that you got right now. I don't care. If you decide, there's a good discount on, nails or something for making something, hey, maybe you want to accumulate some of that stuff. You want to have building supplies. You want to have concrete. You want to have pressure treated wood. You want to have paint. I don't know. I mean, just stuff that you could possibly need for something. And those are important things to do. Not all gold and silver. I think gold and silver is better than doing lots of fiat cash. Because I think the paper is going to oblivion. And it's Japanese, with their policy they're doing with Japan, it's a one-way ticket, man. There's nothing that they can't back out of it. And it's a shame, man, because I think Japanese people are cool. And, my mind is suspicious about something. So Japanese people work really hard, right? And, at one point in time, it looked like they were going to own the earth, Like they had all these exports, and all of a sudden, everything came down. But, I read back, I think it was in the 90s or something. It was actually Wall Street set them up. I'm getting real, because I forgot, I read this a long time ago. I'm just saying this right now off the top of my head. But Wall Street set them up. Somehow, I think, the game that's going on here, if you just want to put it this way, there's different power centers in the world. You knock down the other guys, and you come out top dog, all the capital flows to you. It's like, I think what's going on, I'm in the U.S., so I'm not too much against it, because I benefit from it, right? But you think about it. If you knock down the euro, you knock down Russia, China, right? You knock down Japan. What's left? The U.S., right? That's probably the game that goes on. The guys in New York, Wall Street, are the most competitive bastards on the freaking face of the earth, and they're not stupid. So sometimes I think when even this policy that Japan embarked upon, it's like the only policy they can take. It's not really stupid. It's the only choice they got. It's staving off the end result, which is going to be basically currencies going to oblivion. Just about, man, maybe not quite that much, but pretty bad. So I know as you're looking at the price of silver, it looks like crap. It's down there at 22. Maybe it's up a little. It's up a little bit today. Um, it's the game is going to play out just like the silver pump and dumper said from the beginning. It actually is going to play out that way. You know, silver and gold is going to go up a shitload because, like I said, Japan's playing this game. It's a one-way. They got no choice. This is the only game they can play. They don't have. They got a shrinking population. They got a bunch of people that save money like crazy, especially the older people. They're gonna have all these programs in place. The government's gonna have to pay for all these people. They got no choice. This is the only choice they got. So, and the only way they can grow their economy is to export. Trouble is when they start doing this stuff, like I pointed out, is say, you know, at this trajectory in a few years, a Lexus is going to be cheaper than a Hyundai. So what do you think Korea's going to do? They're going to do the same thing. They're going to freaking, you know, weaken their currency. Germany's going to weaken their currency. Just and Gerald Celente, he's all, you know. I know I talked a little bit about Lindsey Williams. I think Lindsey Williams is right in a general way. He's a freaking shyster, crackpot bastard, man. But Gerald Celente, you know, I tell you, he's right on the money with this. As far as like when exactly is going to happen, you know, about the currency wars and trade wars lead to trade wars that lead to real wars. That's exactly what's going on right now. I think a lot of it's going to happen during the Obama administration. And you know, I'm going to say this too. Obama's in so much hot water from so many different angles. I mean, the birth certificate's one, Benghazi's another. Then we got the umbrella event. That was a biggie, right? Hey, anything I could throw at this guy because he's getting away with the big shit. If a little thing brings him down, I don't care. But, you know, the thing is, he's probably going to have to go to war just to divert attention away from him. I mean, I remember Bill Clinton was getting hit with Whitewater, right? And, you know, with the scandals and stuff with the real estate and the mortgage lending and all that stuff like that. So he used to bomb Bosnia every time something happened in the headline that might hit the headlines for him, right? You know, wag the dog, remember? So that's a good bet. So, but just remember, gold, silver, yeah, it'll go up. But anything that's a tangible asset, food is number one. Remember that shit, right? And medical supplies. Like I said, I'm wearing this thing. And, you know, I'm going to go on some more with this stuff. Because I'm afraid to do it. Because I think there is, like, you know, all these things out there like cancer, heart disease, and all these things. A lot of these things can be cured pretty cheap. They don't like that. I'm almost afraid to say a lot of that stuff. But that type of stuff should be part of your essential survival kit. Vitamins and whatever. Or maybe, you know, if you're not into this, bunch of Cipro or something, you know, antibiotics, and get them. You know, that Cipro might, you know, that's a good investment for instead of silver, right? Keep it on hand in case when the sky falls, right? And don't worry about the lizard people, you know. I want to say something here on the end, man. Actually, I'm partly related to like British royalty in a way. I am actually. It's I'll give you a little story real quick. It's not the king and queen. It's one of them dukes or some shit like that. The Italian family used his name. It's an English name, but they Italianized it, right? And it's only, I don't want to say the name because there's only one freaking name like that in the whole country. But actually, it was he was the illegitimate son of one of the royalty, and I'll give you his first name, Dante. He was born not far from Big Ben, but he was like raised in Italy and everything like that. And he used to be known as like the guy from southern Italy was known as Little Grandpa, and this guy was like the real. He was like 6'4", 6'5". He was like half English blood, and he was Big Grandpa. So I got some lizard blood in me. You can't trust lizards, man. Not really. Anyway, David Icke is a fucking kook. If you listen to that guy, he's crazy, man.